I used to kind of drink to forget about it, really. I felt awful. I felt really awful, tired, just sick of everything. And yeah, downed a few glasses of wine each night and then sleep. I gave up alcohol. And to be honest, that is the best thing I've ever done. I did have one of those DNA tests done. When it came back, it said I had a sensitivity to carbohydrates. People saying things like, oh, you haven't had a vegetable for a year. How are you getting your fiber? You look like a bag of bones and you're too skinny. For about 3 years, it's been in agony. And I didn't even notice it. But the other day, it was like, well, where's that pain gone? It's actually gone. I think probably every year, maybe twice a year throughout my 20s and 30s, I was on a diet of some sort. I was always bloated, really, really painful, bloated stomach. I looked pregnant most of the time. So yeah, my shit don't smell.
All right. Well, let's get started here. Well, anyway, welcome everybody. Today we have with us Ray or Rachel. She's from the UK, I guess Bristol in the UK. Is going to share with us a success story of some sort. So I'll let you maybe start. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm 53. And basically, from about the age of 41, I started to get perimenopausal symptoms. And each year I had another one, and each year I had another one. And I put on a considerable amount of weight. My hormones were all over the place. And I started to follow menopausal doctors online, trying to get a feel for what I could do on a natural level. And I just done a deep dive into everything, really. I looked at biohacking, followed a few of them, read some of the books. It wasn't until 2023 that I started to follow the Carnivore UK. And that was the first carnivore I even encountered. And apart from Liver King, obviously, my son used to show me pictures of Liver King, and I always thought, oh no, it looks so unhealthy, and it's not really my thing. And yeah,
Not my thing either, believe me.
No, well, yeah, a few stories came out on that one, didn't it? So yeah. So yeah, I done World Carnivore Month, January 2024, and yeah, I'm still doing it now.
Okay, so you said early 40s, you started to develop menopausal, perimenopausal symptoms, had gained a bunch of weight. What was your diet like, and what were the menopausal I assume they're doctors specializing in menopause, not menopausal women being doctors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What were they telling you to do, and what was going on with your nutrition and lifestyle back then?
So my nutrition hasn't actually been that bad. I tend to eat whole foods, and I've grown quite a lot of my own stuff as well.
This is for many years. This is for many years you did this?
Yeah, quite a few years, yeah. Definitely since lockdown. I've grown vegetables and stuff. Not in the last year, mind. So the diet wasn't that bad. What was bad was the fact that I drank quite a lot of alcohol, and especially as it got to lockdown, then the alcohol just increased dramatically. And I used to kind of drink to forget about it, really. I felt awful. I felt really awful, tired, just sick of everything. And yeah, downed a few glasses of wine each night and then sleep. I was going to say sleep like a baby, but I basically used to black out most of the time. And the next day felt absolutely awful, and the whole day started again, and I'd done exactly the same thing. So I had to really train myself to get out of that. And so giving up alcohol was my first step in that direction. And I did that in April 2022. I stopped drinking, and I was only going to do a week. And that week went by, and I felt all right. I'm just going to keep going with it. And then I started to feel like crap again. But I persevered. I just thought, no, I got to do it. I've really got to do this, because I wanted to go on to estrogen. And alcohol was one of those things that they said could increase breast cancer was the thing. So that was another push in that direction. So I gave up alcohol, and to be honest, that is the actual best thing I've ever done. And I'm so glad I've done it. And I really recommend it to anyone out there, especially if you're a perimenopausal woman. You don't need the drink. You really don't.
Yeah. So let me just ask you, because you said you wanted to go on estrogen. I assume you got on it. Did that provide some improvement as well?
Yeah, I went on to estrogen and progesterone as well. And it gave some relief, but I was very tired all the time. And I had some blood tests done, and my testosterone levels were completely flatlined. And because it's not licensed here in the UK, the only way you can get it is through private medical insurance. So I kind of persevered with my doctor, and he was quite a young doctor, and he was like all for trying to get it for me. I had to have the male version. So I what a man would take, I take 1/7 of the pack, just a tiny little bit of gel, and just rub it in. But I stopped taking that because I didn't need it after carnivore.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So you said you did World Carnivore Month 2024, so about a year ago.
Yeah.
What prompted you to try that?
Well, like I said, I followed Carnivore UK, and I
Mhm.
saw him advertising, or posting about it. And I thought, what the hell? I'm going to try it. I'm just going to try it for 1 month. Prior to doing the carnivore, I was doing low carb. So I'd already lost quite a bit of weight anyway with that, and was feeling better. And yeah, so the going into carnivore just pushed the boundaries a lot more with the weight loss. And I did have one of those DNA tests done where they test your genetic makeup. And when it came back, it said I had a sensitivity to carbohydrates. So had I had known this years ago, I probably would have been fine. But yeah, something you find out too late. I found out after about 6 months being on carnivore that I had a sensitivity to carbs, so it just all makes sense, really.
So you generally ate pretty well. I mean, you didn't eat a bunch of processed junk for many many years. You gave up alcohol. You went low carb, and then you went carnivore, but things got progressively better as you went carnivore.
Oh
Because a
yeah,
lot of people say you don't need to go carnivore; you just need to cut out the junk food, and you'll be fine. You can, and so that was not your experience, correct?
yeah. I still had quite a lot of fat as soon as I went carnivore. I've worked out for quite a long time with weights, and back in 2017 had a home gym built. So I've been doing it a long time, and I've never seen any muscles until probably like this year, like decent sized muscles. So yeah, that was just losing all the actual fat. I can see them now. Finally, it's paid off.
Would you say that you didn't eat enough protein before, and it was just simply adding protein in the diet that helped, or had you tried with protein before?
I used to eat quite a bit of protein. Yeah, the thing I
Mhm.
didn't eat was the fat. I always got this thing in my head where, oh my god, if it's fat, I'm going to get fat, and I've lived with that all of my life so far. And even at the start of carnivore, I was like just eating the meat and not necessarily going for the fatty cuts. In the beginning of that year, I was eating all sorts of meat. I was eating the pork, the chicken, the turkey, the lamb, the beef. I was eating fish, and not really. And I used to see people eating butter, and I used to think, oh, that is just grim. And when I actually got a spoonful of butter, I just thought, oh, I could actually eat that now, and I ate it, and my mouth was watering. I thought, right, I need to have more fat, and yeah, so I added more fat into my diet. It's massively improved. It improves your mood. I just feel more happier. I've got more joy. Everybody that sees me eat butter, they just cringe. I did the same in the beginning, but yeah. So I try to choose the fattiest looking steak in the shop. The more fat, the better. And everybody in my family just lets me have the fattiest piece, so that's good. So
Do
yeah.
you feel that eating more fat has helped you with appetite control more so than maybe eating leaner stuff, or how does that affected your overall appetite?
I don't think it's affected my appetite. I'm not hungry on carnivore. I haven't been hungry on carnivore at all. Not to the point where I don't get rumbly tummies anymore. I used to get that all the time. and that's all gone. I don't even think it. Sometimes I don't even eat. I'll just go through the day and just eat at night. I'm not hungry. My life is not revolving around food anymore. I look at some people and I see their faces, and they're looking at different foods, and I see joy in their face, and I haven't got that anymore. I just get to tea time, and I get my steak, and eat it, and that's fine. My life's not revolving around it. It's not. I'm like a party anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. You said that people get excited when they get to eat some maybe sugary
Yeah,
concoction, and it
yeah.
lights them up, and they get joy from that. And yeah, you get it. Your life revolves around. It's almost like a drug addict getting his
Yeah.
drug fix. You get a lot of joy from that, and you don't require that anymore. I mean, you enjoy the food you're eating, I assume, though,
Oh God,
correct?
yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Especially if
yeah,
it's a really nice, juicy, fatty steak. I love it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I'm the
definitely.
same way. In fact, I've got a ribeye steak. I'm gonna have in about an hour and a half. I'm very excited about it.
Is that for
Anyway,
breakfast?
so diabetes U or not diabetes Carnivore UK, is that an organization or is that an individual? Because
Yeah, that's
I
an
may know who that is.
individual. The
Okay.
Carnivore UK on Instagram.
Okay, maybe I know who that is. I don't know. I've seen so many. There's so many people now. It's just gotten. I mean, it's grown to the point where probably
Yeah,
millions of
he
people now do this stuff.
started. He started Carnivore after following some of your stuff that you did. And he done it around lockdown, and he's got some really good before and after pictures. He's lost a lot of weight, and he's
Good
really
for him.
into his health as well. So
So, is your weight right now at a low or where you want it to be, or relative to where you are? Maybe it's your high. I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it'll get any lower, and I'm not really bothered about that because I'm quite tiny now. If anything, it's probably going to go up because I need to build some more muscle for
Hmm.
sure, and that's my kind of plan for this year. I've
Yeah, good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got quite a bit already, so I'm almost there. Just want to tone it up a bit more.
How has this been received in your local in your own circle, family, friends, that type of stuff? You said they kind of here you have the fatty meat. Are they critical of this, or are they happy with to see what has resulted?
I think they're happy that I'm happy. They're not overly, what's the word I'm looking for?
Accepting, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Or
they don't really accept it. My parents have just recently gone low carb, which I think is brilliant, and they both lost weight. And they were going to have a try at carnivore for a week, and they just said to me, "Look, we can't do it. We've thought about it, and we just can't do it. We can't give up our fruit."
yeah, sure. Do you know, just in the UK, because I've been in the UK many times, and I always find that it was somewhat harder to find enough fat on the meat. Or do you struggle with that?
Yeah, whenever you go to the supermarket, it's usually trimmed right back to really minuscule. I cooked a joint of pork yesterday, and the fat on it was probably about 2 mil, and it was hardly anything. And it was like it looked like it had been placed on there. To be honest, we had some
Sure.
cows a couple of years back, and when we had them butchered, there was a lot more fat on those. And I think if we ever do that route again, we'd keep the fat and have fattier cuts done. I think you can you can pick and choose when you're putting your own animal in. So that would be
So,
the choice.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Bristol is kind of in the sort of the west of the UK, near to Wales. Correct? Is it? So,
Yes. Yeah,
I,
near
I
the
think the
estuary.
Welsh countryside is very amenable to a lot of rural stuff. Is there a lot of cows and sheep and stuff around you?
Yeah, where I am, I'm kind of between Bristol and Bath, and there's a lot of dairy farms, and there are cattle, quite a lot of sheep. I've got just literally down the road from me, I've got sheep where I walk my dogs. They've just recently moved a field of sheep. So yeah, I'm surrounded by fields, and so that's really nice. And I love go and see the animals.
Okay, because I was in Bath a few years ago when we saw Stones, because you're not far from Stonehenge. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe
Yeah, not
that's
that far.
yeah, yeah. Have there been downsides to this so far?
Okay, yep. I mean, I've got two lists, improvements and downsides. So yeah, let me have a little quick look. Yeah, so basically what we were just saying just a minute ago about other people's opinion. People saying things like, "Oh, you haven't had a vegetable for a year. How are you getting your fibre and things like that? And how can it be sustainable?" I get a few sort of snide jabs like, "Oh, yeah, you look like a bag of bones, and you're too skinny for me." And I think, well, firstly, it's nothing to do with you. And yeah, so that I kind of brush that. I kind of just think, oh, let them think what they want. So I got this brilliant one. So cleaning the barbecue or cleaning the oven or the stovetop. That's a downside of carnivore for sure. And yeah, eating out, you can't really do it uh, unless you want your steak cooked with seed oils. It's not really a thing here. You can ask them to cook it in butter, but I mean, obviously, they still use the thing that they're using with the seed oils in. And I try not to eat seed oil, so I've only actually literally eaten out once in the last year, and that was actually seafood. I haven't had a steak out, not yet anyway. The other thing as well I find is you get more primal carnivores, a bit like the Liver King, and they can sometimes talk down to you, and they say, "Oh, cream isn't carnivore, or milk isn't carnivore, or coffee isn't carnivore." I don't drink coffee anyway, but you get those type of people. That's a bit of a downside because they're not helping you and they're not supporting you in any way. The other thing is things like getting your cholesterol checked. Your family going, "Oh my God, that's terrible," or I got it done a few months back independently, and it was really high. But my triglycerides were low, so
So it
that's
sounds like it's mostly other people's perception, social stuff, but
yeah.
you haven't had symptoms, like you don't feel worse. There's not been like, or
In
any of those types of things.
in the beginning, and I'm talking like within a couple of days of starting it, like on day 3, 4, I felt terrible. I felt awful. And I felt really down and I felt quite depressed and like in a really dark place. And I just had to ride it because it is quite hardcore, I would say, especially for somebody coming from ultra processed foods or a supermarket trolley dash. You couldn't just go straight to carnivore, not without starting to eliminate parts of that diet slowly. If you try and do it all in one hit, I think you're done for, and I think you'll fail as well. So yeah, back day 3, day 4, I felt really really down, and just rode along with it. And the other thing I've noticed as well is, I mean, I don't know what you think about it, but oxalates. I mean, is oxalates a thing? I've had quite a few symptoms that could possibly be oxalate dumping right in the beginning of, say, I don't know, 3 months into carnivore. I was getting really bad gritty eyes, almost really sharp, and constantly clearing my eyes, and little white spots I got as well in the first sort of couple of months, like little hard white spots around my nose and eyes. That's all gone now. With regard to my body, no, I think that's just got better with each day. I've noticed I used to have an arthritic toe, and it still makes a clicky noise when I walk, but the pain is gone. And an Achilles tendon on the other leg for about 3 years has been in agony, and I didn't even notice it. But the other day, it was like, well, where's that pain gone? It's actually gone. After all that time, it's just gone. So yeah, all good things. I was thinking of another downside. The other downside is my dogs. So since being carnivore, they just literally follow me everywhere. And so a downside to is eating with them in front of you, and they're both drooling. It's dripping on the floor, and you think, oh God. But yeah, my dogs are carnivore, so Yeah,
Yeah, they're
they're all
probably
for
happier.
it. They're
I'm
my
sure they're, yeah, I'm
they're
sure
my
they're happy.
support band, my support group.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. So you said you're fairly thin, how much are you currently eating a day? What does it take to get you through the day?
I could probably eat a 10-ounce fatty ribeye smothered in butter, and I that would be my dinner, evening meal. And lunchtime, I would have about three, sometimes four boiled eggs, and I either have it with cheese or I have it with some um, cold sliced beef or beef tongue or beef heart. And I've been eating it with caviar lately, so been being a bit posh. But yeah, I love it. So yeah, I could get through on that. If I don't eat enough fat during the day, I sometimes have some clean pork scratchings, and just to get a little bit more fat. Just a snacky thing, really, while I'm watching late night telly.
Do you find that it to be significantly more expensive than in the UK to do that, what you're doing now compared to your previous diets?
No, if I included alcohol into my diet, and if I was still on my old diet now with all the alcohol I drank, it would probably be double, if not more.
The previous diet would be double what you spend now.
Yeah, or maybe more than double. So yeah, no, I if the rest of the family were on it, I think my shopping bill would be a lot cheaper.
I
Um,
see.
just
Okay.
getting milk, butter, fat, beef, and different. I mean, they all eat meat. They eat all the different meats. So yeah.
I don't know if you ever dealt with like cravings for alcohol or it was a habit or anything like that, but do you find that being on carnivore makes you not really want to drink?
I'm more headstrong now than I was. I've got no inclination to have any alcohol whatsoever, and recently gave up coffee, and I don't even think about that now. It's just I don't know whether I'm stubborn or I'm just headstrong or what it is, but when I got something in my head now, it is that and nothing else. There's no, oh, I might just have a little bit. There's none of that. I've done diets before in the past. Like, I think probably every year, maybe twice a year throughout my 20s and 30s, I was on a diet of some sort. Low carb, low calorie, Weight Watchers. I've done Weight Watchers so many times. Slimming World. What else? Yeah, all of them. And oh yeah, I've just popped a stone off of there, and then just go straight back into the way I was eating before, and back on again, and more. And with carnivore, it's just gone, and it's not. I'm not likely to change. So yeah, I think I'm stronger for sure. And to answer your question, I've got no tendencies now.
Do you find that you've noticed some things that are like, for what people will say, without fiber and vegetables, your digestion you need fiber for your digestion. I mean, how has your gut health been since you've given up fiber?
Can I tell you what my gut health was like before?
Sure,
First,
sure. Yeah. Contrast would be
okay.
good. Yeah.
So before carnivore, I was always bloated, really, really painful, bloated stomach. I looked pregnant most of the time. Always constipated, always, to the point where I used to have to take constipation tablets and sometimes do the uppy thing. And I used to eat tons of vegetables, tons of fiber, and I used to take, is it allulose? Allulose.
Hmm.
It's like a drink that they give to pregnant ladies when they get constipated. It's just like a sugary syrup. I think it's called allulose. I'm not sure. Anyway, take that. I used to take Senecot, all sorts. Nothing. And wind, really bad wind, belching, hiccups. It was just awful. Not really indigestion as much, but a little bit of heartburn. And as soon as I went to carnivore, I was actually thinking the other day, I haven't had the hiccups. I haven't had the hiccups at all. And that's like, how is that even a thing? Yeah, so now I've got no bloating. I don't feel bloated. I don't hardly break wind, hardly at all. And if I do, it definitely doesn't smell. I don't belch, I don't hiccup. I go to the toilet definitely once a day, sometimes twice. There's no force in it, no pain. It looks completely different from last year's. So yeah, it's all good stuff. It looks normal. It doesn't even smell. So yeah, my shit don't smell.
Well, that's interesting. So, any other, like you mentioned not hiccuping, and that's something I thought was unusual. I used
Yeah.
to get them occasionally, but I never get them anymore. And it's interesting because no one really cares about hiccups. It's not like a medical condition, it's really,
No,
but
but
the fact that
what
you don't hiccup
causes it?
anymore is kind of an interesting observation. Anything else like hair, skin, nails, anything like that? Some people note their nails grow faster, their hair grows thicker, any of those types of things.
Yeah,
Skin.
I it during like perimenopause. Oh, by the way, when I was telling you about perimenopause, 3 to 4 months into carnivore, my periods came back. Anyway, that's another story.
This is
So yeah,
at age 52 or
at
something,
age
right? So
52, yeah. So anyway, my hair during that time between age 41 and I lost and so up to last year, I lost about a third of my hair, so it was really thin, and it had a funny feel to it. It didn't feel right. It wasn't soft. It felt really dry. Um, and now I've got like little baby hairs all coming back up here. It's quite long. It actually feels soft. Feels nice. Yeah, it's definitely changed my hair. My skin, that was always really flaky and dry. I don't get that anymore. I've actually got an underactive thyroid, and I take thyroid. It was something that happened when I had my first child. I lost a considerable amount of blood and ended up with hypothyroidism. So I've always taken Thyroxine, and I've always put things like dry, flaky skin down to my thyroid. And things like being cold all the time and cold hands, I've put that down to thyroid. Being tired all the time, I put down to thyroid. And every time I had it checked, no, it's fine, your thyroid's fine. And that's all gone. So the skin is now soft and it's not flaky. I've got no dandruff. My nails, within, I was looking back on some old posts, and within 3 weeks of carnivore, my nails were long and really strong. And prior to that, they almost like delaminated. They split constantly. I had to keep them really short because they just kept flaking off. And I always used to put that down to thyroid as well. So yeah, my nails. That's another downside to carnivore. Actually, cutting my nails every 2 weeks. It's a pain.
yeah,
But
they do grow. My nails grow a lot faster too. That's for sure. Yeah.
yeah. What else? So yeah, skin, energy. My energy levels. That was another thing I put down to having the thyroid. I used to say, "Oh yeah, I'm tired because of my thyroid." And sometimes I only used to get to 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be wanting to have a nap. I don't get that anymore. I've got energy. I don't. The only time I've had an afternoon nap is if I've done a 3 day fast. And sometimes when you're doing a fast, I think you just got to let your body do, what it needs at the time. And sometimes it is just to, just rest. So that's the only time I've had a nap. So if I just go through, so things like earwax and bogies, and constantly clearing my throat and like a nasal drip. That's all gone. And I had that all the time. And I was constantly going, and it was like, I used to think it was a habit, but it's gone. So was it a habit, or was it the food I was eating? Really runny eyes as well. So if I yawned at all, my eyes would just stream. I don't have that. I don't yawn anymore. What else? So my senses hearing and smell and taste, and also things like my eyes. My eyesight hasn't actually improved. I still wear glasses for driving, but what I have noticed is the floaters. They're still there, but I've only done a year. They're not as bad. If I used to wear something that was red, a red top, and I looked down, the floaters would. So yeah, I haven't got that anymore. So that's amazing, and I'm hoping to get more improvements with my eyes. Whether that's a thing now at my age, I don't know. Maybe I'll do some exercises, where you hold the pen out, and maybe that will help.
It seems like just a whole host of things that you kind of consider they're annoyances of life
Yeah.
got better. Clearing throat, runny nose, eyes, visual things, skin, digestion, just across the board, quality of life improved. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I haven't finished yet. So I got
Oh, okay, keep
allergies.
going.
Yeah. So I used to get. I don't know whether you know what Leylandii hedging is.
I
Whenever I used to
do
cut
not.
it, what was that?
No, I haven't heard of that. With Leylandi hedging? No.
Yeah. So it's a hedge, and when I
Oh,
used to
okay.
get the hedge clippers out and cut it, I used to come out in this rash, literally all over my body, and it used to last for about 4 days, itchy and red and sore. And when I cut the hedge last year, I didn't get it. I didn't get it once. So that's got to be my diet. Cramping. I didn't get cramping. I used to get really bad cramp. I don't know whether it was cramps, but it's in my rib cage. So when I used to bend over and say put a sock on or a shoe, or bend over the bath to wash my hair, I used to double up in pain where my I don't know what you call it, where my ribs just used to, it felt like they were crossing over, but obviously they weren't. And I used to have to contort myself backwards to pop it out again. That's gone. So that's another thing. Sunburn. Don't burn anymore. I don't. I don't wear sun cream. I didn't wear sun cream in 2023, and I didn't burn then. And in 2024, my skin just, well, it's the brownest I've ever been this past year, and I wasn't laying in it for hours and hours and hours. But you actually would have thought I would have been. Yeah, I was pretty brown. I was quite chuffed with that because it gives you a boost of vitamin D for a start and confidence. So yeah, that was great. Muscle definition. That's obviously a big thing that's come in with the weight loss. Cellulite. Now, I can probably think back to when I was at senior school and looking and sitting down out in the school field and looking down at my legs, thinking, oh, and squeezing them and thinking, oh, I got a cellulite, and it was like quite a big thing. And so I was about 14, I suppose. So almost 40 years of having cellulite. I've still got it, but not nowhere near as bad as it was. That's like really, I'm looking forward to this year actually, and seeing what differences it makes to my legs this year. Because yeah, the improvements in 1 year has been amazing for that. So always cold. I've always been cold. I haven't been cold at all. Migraines. Now, I've always suffered from hormonal migraines ever since a teenager. And I used to get like a 4-day migraine. And it was always before my period would start, 4 days leading up to it. A nice big hangover migraine, a hell of a one. And I still get them, but they're not as bad. And the only time I usually get them now is if I do a fast and I'm not drinking enough, or getting enough electrolytes in. But yeah, so I think that is more hormonal one for me. Going back to hormones as well, I did tell you I was taking testosterone, and that's all back up, and I don't need that. That's all good. I knew it was getting a bit high because I was driving like a man.
Okay.
I'll just say the word man. I won't say anything else. But yeah. Driving like a teenager, that's just passed the test.
So maybe more aggressive. Just a little more.
Yeah, definitely. And also more, I was aggressive to other road users as well. So yeah, but I definitely think carnivores, it's evened out my hormones for sure. And I would definitely recommend to any woman in their 40s, well, even younger, obviously, to definitely try it because it works. And you don't have to go down that route of having all the extra hormones, tablets, and, you don't need them, really. You want to try and do it as naturally as possible. I took the body identical gels and stuff, so yeah, kind of natural, but
So the bioidentical hormones. All right. So are you off all hormones now? Is that? Or are you still taking estrogen?
I'm still taking. I'm still taking Thyroxine, and while we're on the subject of Thyroxine, tomorrow I had some blood tests done last week, and they sent me a message to say that the in-house pharmacy is going to be calling me tomorrow because they think my medication is too high. So they're going to talk about bringing it down. So after 28 years of being on it, I'm suddenly going to have a reduction. By how much yet, I don't know. Is it healing my thyroid? I don't know. It sounds promising, and it sounds like it possibly is. So I'm quite excited to that, because if I could get off Thyroxine, I've taken it for so long. If I could get off that, it would be amazing.
Yeah, you would not be the first person that's mentioned that said they've either reduced their thyroid hormone or they've come off it completely. So, hopefully.
Oh, right. So there is hope then, coming off it completely.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't need to be on medications, better not to be on them, in my view. So,
no, but you've spoken to people that have actually come off of it. You just said, did you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you discuss this outside of, like, are you on a social media platform where you discuss this at all, or not really?
What, discuss carnivore?
Yeah, or your health benefits you've gotten.
Yeah, I've got carnivore accounts, and we talk about carnivore. I'm in the carnivore community, and we talk about it all the time. So yeah, and it's really nice to have like-minded people. Sometimes people have got worries about something or a bit concerned about something, and I noticed the community's grown. I think it's about 5,000 in the last 2 months.
In the UK, you mean, or something like that?
No, just on X.
Oh yeah, the carnivore diet community. I think it's around 25,000 people in that community now. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's like 5,000 in less than 2 months.
Yeah, it's grown quite a bit. I see quite a few people posting in that particular group, and it, and I think it just started not that long ago, maybe 2 years ago or something like that. It's not been around that long. So it's grown quite a bit, as has the more and more people, doing this diet. So it's good to see.
I don't really see. I know a couple of people in the UK that do the carnivore diet, but it doesn't seem to be as common as it is in the US. Do you get that vibe? Or?
Well, yeah, I mean, the US has obviously got a lot more people. I think we've got 6 times as many people as the UK or something like that. I can't remember. So yeah. Well, so you've been doing it a year. You've obviously seen significant improvements in your overall health across the board and just quality of life. Do you foresee changing anything anytime soon?
No, I did add in a couple of berries after World Carnivore Month into like some whole yogurt, and my throat just almost closed over. I thought, nah, it's not worth it.
So you stay pretty much just kind of animal products, meat for the most part.
It has changed. I don't tend to eat chicken. I do occasionally, but I just really don't like it. I just would rather just stick with ruminants. So I just tend to eat beef and lamb and venison. My son shoots quite a lot of venison, so he sometimes has burgers made up and processed, and they're really nice. And they actually add beef fat to it because venison can be quite lean, so they add in beef fat. So yeah, they're really tasty burgers.
Do you have any eggs or dairy products? You said you have some cream, some dairy products. Any eggs as well?
Yeah, I eat about 3 a day, eggs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you did say that at the beginning. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, I drink quite a lot of milk, and I add in collagen to my milk as well. So that gives me a little bit extra protein as well.
Well, it sounds like generally been pretty simple, straightforward, all upside. Anything else you want to add that we haven't got to discuss up to this point?
No, I don't think so. I think I've covered quite a bit.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you for doing this. Appreciate it. Well, anyway, Rachel, thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate it. We will, I guess, get this out in a couple of weeks, and appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.